I will. I'll start. Mary, don't you worry. I'll start. Welcome, Friday night, to the most important stream you'll ever listen to in your life. No, I'm just kidding. It's Clown World Cousins, CWC. We're wifing, we're lifing, we're cleaning. We are streaming stores, chores, blue-pilled boars.
I love it.
I feel bad because like my life is so different. I haven't been at stores much, and if I do go to a store, I'm so exhausted. I feel so dirty, like because I'm like I basically work in a barn now that I just want to get out. Like I feel bad about all the dirt I'm leaving behind. You're all blurry again.
Yep, sure am. Whatever. It's probably for the best. I'm freaking exhausted.
Gorgeous.
Let's try this.
And we're all coordinated with our gray. We're feeling wintry vibes.
Whatever. Who cares about that? Let's get this show on the road.
The most important stream ever.
Absolutely. It absolutely is. So
we're solving we're going to solve world's problems tonight.
Once again, we never. First of all, how was your birthday week?
Okay, my birthday. I have I guess I have two little stories. My birthday was wonderful. I'm so blessed. I love my family, my husband, my mom. I couldn't have been happier on my birthday. But hilarious. My birthday was on Wednesday, and I can only speak for the East Coast of Massachusetts, Mary. I think it was the most dismal, disgusting day weather-wise we've had in a long time.
Oh.
And I work at a doggy daycare, so it was my first like doggy daycare day where I'm out in the rain and all the dogs were miserable and everybody was off. People at my first job were miserable. It was just a miserable day, and I didn't want to tell anyone it was my birthday because it was so gross out. It would have been like it was like that feeling that probably my brother-in-law had during the 7-Eleven part-time job, because I remember him sitting on the couch and he was like we're all watching the TV with the towers and stuff, and he goes, "Today's my birthday." That's how bad. I mean, I guess it wasn't that bad. I'm being a little dramatic, but it was such a crappy day. The only people I told it was my birthday were the dogs, and they didn't care. My birthday.
You didn't do anything fun? Wish I could fix
the funniest part was I have two. I probably, but it's just funny. So then, like, I'm going home from the dog park, and I'm having like the birthday blues, and I'm crying because like the next day is a year anniversary of my dad. I'm not exactly turning 21, so I'm like I'm getting old, and my dad's dead, and like
yeah.
And then all of a sudden in my car, I hear Faye. It was my mother-in-law. I butt-dialed my mother-in-law as I'm having a birthday panic attack. She's awesome.
Did she hear you? Were you saying it out loud?
She heard me. She's like, "Are you all right? Are you all right?" I'm like, "I'm totally fine." I'm like, "It's just my birthday. It's a crappy day out." I'm like, "My dad's anniversary." And then we ended up like laughing. She knows me. But it was just like out of everyone to like butt dial as you're having a panic attack. It's my mother-in-law. So anyway, but then I went home and Joe and the kids, they were amazing on my birthday. So I want to just tell a quick story about the day after. So the day after,
shut up.
This is a supernatural story. This was amazing, Mary. Just a really quick story. No one can tell me there is either a God, and that's my vote, or it's very Truman Show-esque what's going on in this world. So on the 17th was the year anniversary of my dad's death. And my boss, it was a beautiful day out, thank God. Remember, one of my mottos, tomorrow's a new day. Beautiful day out. And my boss, I finished everything I needed to do. I usually work till 1. But on this day, she was like, "Faye, we're all set if you want to go home." And so, Mary, you know how I feel about going home early. I'm always like, "No, I'm still playing with the dogs." But that day, my mom was coming over. My mom was so sweet. She came over and made me my favorite meal. So I left about half hour, 40 minutes early. I was like, you know what? My mom's coming today, so I'm going to leave early. Ran a few errands. Anyway, I made it back to my house. I wasn't supposed to be there. Okay. I get parked in my driveway and there's some lady and she's like looking around my house. She's got an envelope in her hand. And I'm like, who the hell is this person? Because we live in Massachusetts and like it could be anyone, anyone, any stupidity. So I get out of the car and I'm like, hi, can I help you? And she's like, does Faye blah, blah, blah live here? You know, Faye. And I'm like, I'm her. What can I do for you? And she's like, I'm Brenda. And I knew exactly when she said it. My dad was famous or infamous, however you want to look at it, in the talk show circuit. And when he died, there was one particular show that the people were very upset. And there was a woman named Brenda who was very good friends with my dad. Mary, I almost missed her. Are you okay? Where are you?
Yeah, I can't. I know exactly who you're talking about. I had to get a tissue. Yeah.
So she and I ended up hugging in the driveway. She's going to come over for dinner and drinks. It turns out she likes wine like I do. And it's like I was going to miss her. She was going to drop off a very beautiful letter. But had she just dropped it off, I know myself, I would have just like probably written her a letter back and that would have been the end of it. But my dad and her dad, who also passed away this year, they wanted us to meet because they both know she lives in the same town as me. She's about the same age, maybe a little bit older. I have no friends left. And my one friend Unique is moving to Maine. Like I literally, like besides my family, like what the hell? I used to have like friends. I used to be kind of like popular in a way, but now I'm not. No one wants to be around me. So my dad sent me a friend and it was so cute when I walked in, like we were having such a good time together. Dorian was like, looks like someone has a new friend. And then my mother came over and made my favorite meal of all time. And then we read her letter at dinner a year after my dad. And that's just my story. And we're going to read it again together as a family at Thanksgiving. It was beautiful. But like
okay. I know Brenda only from the radio because we would when our kids were going to school down the street, my husband would tune into that in the morning driving the kids to school and he'd be like, oh, I heard your uncle again. So anytime we were in the car and that show was on, we'd hear my uncle. And I remember Brenda, and I believe she even came to his wake,
she wasn't able to make his wake.
Okay, but yeah,
in the letter, but she did, and my mother played it. My mother has it saved. She did on the show like a beautiful sort of eulogy for my dad. It was a really special community they had. And you know what? Now I kind of feel like a jerk as usual for being like, Dad, why do you call into these stupid shows? Like they're still plugged in. This woman had loved, like as I was reading the letter, I kind of looked at my mom. I was like, Mom, these two didn't have something going on, did they? Because like they didn't, you know, they were just really good friends, you know, but she truly loved my dad. But it was literally a miracle. You know, there's big miracles and there's little miracles. And to me, this is a big miracle. I wasn't supposed, there was no way I was supposed to be in my house when she was there. She was about to drop the letter off and I would have sent her a nice letter back and that would have been the end of it. But now she's going to come over for dinner and drinks.
Oh,
my sister and mom are going to come over.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh.
Girls' night.
No, you know who should be there is my brother. My brother would be like, "Hey, Brenda!" They had their whole like little group on, you know, AM radio. But that's unbelievable. I love that story. So that's way happier than your birthday. It was a little
it was
belated birthday present.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I say to my kids, you know, we're living in a world that's obviously run by godless psychopaths, and they're going to tell you, they want you to think that you're, as what does Lucky Haskins say? I love it. You're an insignificant accident. So we're going to put this little story about Brenda delivering the perfect letter for us to read on the anniversary of Dad's death. I shouldn't have met her. I call it putting it in our spiritual bank account. So when the world comes at you and tells you that you're nothing and that there is no God, blah, 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 you just go to your spiritual bank account and you remember that's not true. That isn't true. God's real. God's in my life all the time.
I love that.
Thank you.
I love that. Thank you. That's amazing. That's uplifting. Very high vibration, Faye.
Very high vibes. My dad was a character. I love him, and he was definitely a character.
I can't believe your sister didn't tell me that. Does your sister know that story?
She probably knew I wanted to tell you tonight.
Oh, okay. Keeping secrets.
Well,
my sister's keeping secrets from me.
She's had a lot on her plate this week, too.
I know. Do you want to quickly say that? Just real quick? I think people need to be made aware.
I guess, like 100 people and stuff watch our streams, and I'm like, I watch it like 3 times. Like, no, I watch it twice. I watch it. I just like, okay, is this okay? I don't really watch, they listen. But anyway, blah, blah. So I love my job at the doggy daycare so much, and my sister would be even better than I am at it. She's such a natural with dogs. She applied at one near her house, and I was warned not all doggy daycares are the same. And hers was the one that she interviewed at was bordering on, and I hate to say it because there's a lot of animal lovers that listen in, bordering on abuse, if not straightforward abuse. And she actually called to complain. It was that bad. And we're not call in and complainer type people. Like, it has to be bad for her to call and complain. Like, we're not busy.
But she didn't call the facility. She called the authorities.
The authorities. And it was the second call they got. So I work at an amazing doggy daycare, and I'm a true believer in doggy daycare if you can afford it. It's a great way to socialize, get your dog out of the house. But I'm now looking back, because I didn't know. I thought all doggy daycares were the same. When Leo was a puppy, back to Leo, I think I sent him to kind of a bad doggy daycare.
Oh.
That kind of made him worse. But anyway, so just people with puppies, doggy daycares are wonderful, but make sure it's a good one.
Yes.
But I know she'll find a good one, and my boss is looking out in her area, because my boss.
Yeah, but this place that she went to go interview at, online, it looks like a beautiful facility. They have the front entrance room that is nice and clean and neat, and then they have like the play area that's nice and clean and neat. But the dogs are kept literally in a basement with no windows and no ventilation all day while their owners are at work. And a lot of doggy daycares, they'll have like a live webcam so you can kind of check in on your dog, see what's going on. And this place didn't have it. So I wonder, how many of these people are dropping off their dogs, letting them run around in that like playroom area. They're like, oh, the dog's happy. All right, bye. I'll be back later. And then the dog's taken downstairs to a dungeon. It's sick. It's animal cruelty. And I'm happy that the, MSPCA or something is getting involved. It's that big of a deal.
New Hampshire, whatever their version is.
Yeah. So anyway,
it's difficult, and this is why because the thing is that like when I'm at the daycare, like I can say to the dogs, let's go to, and I'll say the name of the daycare I'm at, and the dogs will get really excited when they hear the name. So my thing is that the dogs that are going to this daycare, they're not acting sad. They're not being forced to go. I don't know. And so that's why I think of Leo. When I look back at Leo, bringing him to this daycare, and he didn't go too often. But like looking back, I thought that he was happy to go, but he was acting more nervous to go. Like with dogs, like acting happy and acting a little nervous can kind of look the same way. Like the tail wags and I don't know.
So anyway,
yeah, it's just sad. But again, like it's just we live in a world. I don't like to think about this stuff. You could see me kind of even being like, yeah. Like I hate abuse. I hate it. I hate that I live in a world.
Of course. You know that I'm more of a cat person than a dog person, but I wouldn't even mistreat my chickens. There is no animal abuse is inexcusable, just like child abuse is inexcusable.
It's one of the most confusing it's you know, I was just listening to We Are Awake TV, and I love that. I found them through Brian. They have really, really, really long streams with awesome panels, and I always listen all day. I don't think I've ever got through a whole one. They're too long. But they were bringing up, they were just saying, like, oh, do we choose to come here? And some people were like, I would never choose to come to a world with child cruelty. And that's how I feel. Like, it's just too much for me to bear. I literally pushed it out of my mind.
Okay. Can I help you?
Mama, I want to exercise.
You guys have to go downstairs. I have the two littles just broken. They're playing hide and go seek, but my room's off limits. So hold on one second. All right, come on, we have to go. Mama's on the phone.
Be quiet.
What, honey? All right. Yeah, go hide somewhere else. Oh, God bless you.
Loud for the game. That's adorable.
Wow. All right. Well, that was a first, so I'm doing okay, I guess.
Cute.
Oh, sorry.
Two teenage flops downstairs. There's not much I wouldn't give to like have one more day with them. That little. So cute.
They are so cute. They are so cute. But I will say, when you were talking earlier, I had to lean around my computer to say, will you two shut up? I was talking to my two teenagers who are also in my room, acting like I'm not in the middle of trying to, have a conversation. But anyway, I would never say that to my littles. They're so cute. But, so, all right. I named this simple
I love your name. Yeah.
I had so much fun naming this, but anyway.
Very good job.
Psyop. So this week was a weird week for me. All right. So I went to a place early in the week, and I went to go get a facial. Whatever. I'm middle-aged. It's what we do. Yeah. And I'm there, and this place does Botox, fillers, all this kind of. They don't do fillers and stuff like that. So I'm sitting there. There's one woman there who's about 80 years old, and she's there for the same facial as me. But then I'm surrounded by like these young women, very young women, who are there for their Botox appointment, their fillers appointment, thinking there's something wrong here when a young, beautiful person feels like such crap about themselves that they're going to alter their face and get Botox. It's like their brows are going to collapse. They're going to look like cavemen by the time they're my age. But anyway, I'm not wishing harm. So then I got home, and it really kind of like bothered me seeing all these young people treating themselves like they're ugly. And I'm sorry, youth in itself is beautiful. I mean, it doesn't even matter. It's just like you're just beautiful. You're youthful. You're glowing. So I came across, for some reason, I did come home and I talked to my husband about it. And because our phones are always listening to everything we're saying, started getting all these recommendations from YouTube. And a lot of them were like the Instagram mentality. It wasn't called that. It had a sexier name. But it's all about like how social media and the dangers of social media and what it does to these young people's self-esteem and self-worth. So I started watching those, and I was like, yeah, I can see this, where all of a sudden these women, they look great on camera, but when you see them without their makeup on, they look bizarre. They look bizarre with their, huge lip fillers and their, cheekbones out to here. So I was like, yeah, there's definitely something weird going on with social media and the way that we see ourselves, especially the young people. So that night, I'm in my kitchen, and I see these two little boys going down my street on a scooter, and then they stop in front of my house. They were not little boys, probably about 11 and 12, but little to me. And I see one of them start running up the pathway to my house and knock on the door. I'm like, what the hell is going on? So I go over, open the door, and one of the young boys said, trick or treat. I can see his other friends sitting there holding his phone, making a TikTok or whatever these kids are up to nowadays. So they were trying to be obnoxious, but they didn't understand that I always have candy on hand. So I play along, and I'm
bluff. I love it.
I was like, all right, what do you want? I got Payday, I got Hershey's, I got Reese's Pieces, and I forget what the fourth one was. But yeah, 4 unopened bags of candy. I got 8 kids. So they ran off, and I was like, this whole thing, this whole like social media thing going a little too IRL. In real life, people are revolving their worlds around it. Their entire world revolves around social media. Like that could have been kind of dangerous for those 2 little boys, but we're in a safe area. So that night I go on Discord, and my friend Dank Buddy, he's the one who introduced me to that. What was her name? Haley Lujan. The Haley Lujan social media account. And I sent it to you, Faye, because I was like, what is this? What is this? Is this a psyop? So for people who don't know, Haley Lujan is in the U.S. military. She's a very, very pretty 20-something, I would say, maybe, yeah, about 20-year-old. I didn't
19, 20 tops.
Yeah. She's a young woman, and they're calling her the military recruit e-girl. And so she has these videos, and first on her Instagram, you can see her like half naked, of course, like every young person. I'm not judging. And then you see her in like her cool military regalia, and she's wearing a patch on her uniform, and the patch is for the Airborne Psyop Division. So people are like, wait, so the U.S. military is now using social media to recruit people? What's going on here? So shared it with you. Did you have any thoughts on this?
Oh, I've got so many thoughts. I mean, I can go back to like the Botox thing. Before COVID, I used to get it a lot. I won't. Now it's not in the budget, and I have like, I don't know. Thankfully, the camera's a little forgiving, but these 2 lines here, and they haunt me. And I said, "You're nice, but they're there." And every time I look in the mirror, and I think, "Wow, $700 could really make you guys go away." But it's not going to happen. So back to Botox. At the end of the day, it's really botulism being. I'm going to start at the beginning.
Sure. Yes, I said a lot there, and again, my camera's still all wonky, but yeah.
I did like the way I looked with the Botox and the fillers. Like sometimes, I remember one time one of Dorian's friends told me I looked 16, so that was a good day. But now
when I went in, the woman asked me if I wanted lip filler. She's like, "Do you want, little lip filler?" It's like, no, I like my thin, non-existent mouth. Leave me alone.
Before COVID again, I had just, this is such a bummer too. I had just paid, I think it was $1,400 for a series of facials, and it was like a light facial I was going to get. I got 2 treatments. Then this happened, and she had to close down. I've spoken to her via text, and she's like, "Yeah, come to my other location, which is in like near the Cape." And it's like, I'm too lazy. I'm just like, keep the money. I don't care. So it really just changed. I don't have the money, and it's just changed my perspective. Like I just don't have it. I think the biggest cautionary tale with plastic surgery and stuff, though, right now is Madonna.
Oh,
she looks so bad. I don't know if it's a humiliation ritual or what. She still dresses and prances around in her lingerie. I think that she's like pushing 60, and no, she's in her 60s.
Yeah.
You do you, boo. Like in the privacy of my own home, I'll be doing that for Joe. If he's, you know what I say, Mary. If he's still coming for it, I'll put in some effort for him. But she's on social media. She's dressed like she's still the material girl back in the 80s, and it's like, honey, there's just not enough. Her lips, and I'm not. I don't want to be mean. But Madonna, I will be mean, because Madonna was one of the, I used to love Madonna in the 80s. I wanted to be just like her and a little boy toy. And she, she's a total, either worshiping the devil or pretending to worship the devil. Either or. She's not a good person. I think it's fair to say. She's put herself out there so much. Okay,
Yeah.
So I used to get Botox. I don't get Botox anymore. Madonna's a cautionary tale. TikTok, running people's lives, and social media. I don't have any of it. So, but I know that you're right. And I can't, I think that's hilarious that you called their bluff with the candy. And so all the way to Haley, whatever her name is, very pretty girl, where I think that I think she's a psyop? I think that we are living what I call Nightmerica. We've been in a constant, everything's a psyop. Everything is a psyop all day, every day.
This is what I was thinking. I was thinking, yeah, she's a psyop, but she's not a recruiting psyop. She's just part of the psyop. Yeah. She's another beautiful face out there, like putting themselves out there. And yeah, she just happens to be in the military. And I loved when they brought up that Giga Chad guy, the football player who went into the service. Oh my God, what the hell's his name?
Yeah, he supposedly died. Tillman.
I mean, I showed my son that picture. My son was cracking up. I said, you want to see the definition of Giga Chad? You want to see where they get this from? I showed him that. My son was like, oh my gosh.
I honestly have never heard the term Giga Chad until you just said it.
Oh, you know what a Chad is? So there's a simp, then there's a Chad, but then there's a Giga Chad, which means it's always like the big chin.
I know what a simp is, but honestly, I've heard Chad, but I don't even really know what it means. What's a Chad?
A Chad?
Yeah.
Chad is like, okay, you know how for women that are complete biatches, they call them Karens? Well, guys that are totally alpha are Chad. They're all named Chad.
So they call them Chad. Okay.
So they call them Chads. But then there's a Giga Chad on top of, like, he's breaking all the records. He's breaking all the molds of the Chadliest Chad we've ever seen. So he's a Giga Chad. And something else I did find out, this is all meme culture. So I'm finding out a lot about meme culture also, which is totally dumbing down our society. One of the things that I did hear about this girl, what the hell's her name? I just rolled up my, I already rolled up my Post-it too soon, Faye. I was like, all right, that's done. What the hell's her name? Haley Lohan. They're saying that she's the opposite of this other meme thing, which is called trad wife. There's a whole meme culture on trad wife. And they're like, when you see, you know, a pretty blonde hair, blue-eyed, you know, half-dressed woman, and you think you're going to make her your trad wife type stuff, it's like this whole thing. But they're saying that, like, she kind of goes against that culture a little bit, but I don't think she does. I think she fits right into that meme culture. So unless you have teenagers, you don't have any idea what we're talking about right now.
Teenagers, but like I know what a traditional wife.
Yeah.
Trad wife.
A trad wife, but all these guys who are simping online, it ties into the simp culture, and it's almost like getting to the point where they're kind of poking fun at the simp culture, but yet at the same time, they're kind of a bunch of simps out there, and they're like, I'm going to make her a trad wife. It's like she has an OnlyFans.
Yeah. The sim culture is, but you know what? I can't, it started with Adam and Eve. I mean, dude, like, and I know that, you know, whatever the story is, it's like, don't listen to your wife. Listen to God. Listen to God, not your wife. I might, you know, it's...
Hold on, can I just tell you something really quick? When I was first on Discord, we're on KJ's server. I've talked about him before, Scariest Movie Ever channel.
Yeah, I know him.
And I got timed out because you know how they call it original sin? With Adam and Eve, they're like, oh, that was original sin. I said it was original simp, and I got timed out They're like,
Wow, that's so great. That's so
I thought it was
great.
right. The original simp.
He is the original simp. I love that, Mary. That's like a book title. He is the original simp. No,
So
but that's why, like, women, I like to remind my daughter that men are, well, boys at this point. Boys are a little more afraid of you than you are of them, and beauty, it is powerful, sweetie. I can't imagine living in her, but you'd have to be modest, and you're living in a world that tells you that, oh, it's so great to just like be with whoever you want. And I don't watch pornography, but I've heard it's appalling. And like when you hear like just like average guys being like, even the porn's no good anymore because it's so gross. I can't even imagine. I just pray and pray and pray for her and all the kids, but like I can't even imagine what it's like being a teenager. But anyway, I just, I know you're living in a world that says like free, have sex, and like, all the stars do it. I'm like, but it's something so precious and valuable, this gift. And I don't know if I'm veering off. You know how I feel. Like,
I do.
Yeah. And it's, I saw a good meme that someone posted. And it was just very simple. Who was it? It doesn't even matter, but just said, teach your children the truth, because if not, the devil's going to step in to deceive them with a ton of lies. And that's all. So
Yeah.
I'm sorry if I off it with culture.
Right?
I don't think the simp culture is anything new. It's just, in our faces, and
vanity in women is nothing new.
no.
That's nothing new either. So it's like there's nothing new under the sun, but yet at the same time, I do kind of feel like it's on steroids a little bit because of things like the internet. Instead of like simping over a girl in your village, you're simping over like 20 people that you're subbed to on I don't want to say every dude has OnlyFans, but you know what I mean, or following on Instagram, or
I hope every dude doesn't have Instagram. I mean,
no, OnlyFans. I think a lot of young dudes do have Instagram.
I said, what have I always said to my son? I said, because I know the culture I live in, and I don't want my son to be a simp, and I don't want my daughter to give herself away to simps and to
sell herself short. Exactly.
Just like if you have to pay for it, just only gammas have to pay for it, is what I tell
for your son. See, isn't it? It is very weird, the conversations you do have to have with teenage boys versus teenage girls. It's very weird. I mean, people are like, the glass ceiling and stuff like that. It's like, no. My daughter's virtue is her best asset. Not so much with my son. And I'm not saying that my son is not a virtuous young man, but it's very different for girls, even nowadays. Like, dudes will be the first one to sleep with you, and they'll be the first one to call you an SLUT, all in the same breath, the same evening. So it's like, no, there's still that like understanding of like, yeah, you can put yourself out there, you can expose yourself, you can give away your most valuable asset, until somebody purchases it. And by purchases it, I mean with a loyalty and faithfulness, not by like money. Can't buy
think that's a truther, and also dripping down into like the conservative culture agrees with what you're saying. Like I think a man like right now, you don't want a materialistic. Well, I can't tell people what they want, but like I don't think Dorian would want to be with a girl that like because Dorian doesn't see through it. Like he sees through the Mercedes and all that, and the whole show of like being CEO, corner office. I see Dorian is like more attracted to like the country, and stuff like that. But anyway, circles like us, I hear more and more like it's more value for a woman to have her virginity or close, you know what I mean? And like not close, but they don't want someone who's been with a lot of guys, and that's understandable. And so a woman that doesn't have a lot of debt, a woman that brings skills to the table, a woman that can cook, a woman that can manage a home. So basically,
they don't need, hold on, they actually don't need that. If my husband was signing up for that, that poor fella, because I stink at like organization and I'm a little bit of a scatterbrain, but guess what? I'm a good wife and loving. I'm trying to find where the hell my mouse is because Joe, I would like to put that on, but my mouse isn't working here. But Joe says, why buy the cow if the milk is free? And you know what? That's cliche, but it's still
my
true.
husband just say that?
Yes, it's
You
true.
bought the cow. You bought the
No. But Faye, literally, it's true. And it's like we've all made mistakes. And now we're raising daughters. And that's the difference. We can look back on mistakes or situations that we shouldn't have been in. And we would never want to put our daughters through that.
One of my dear friends, and I actually look up to her very much as a mother, because her and her daughter are like this, and her and her son are like this, and I see their relationship. And she's just like, you know what, Faye? And because I just said, she just said, Faye, I just was always honest with them, and I told them what worked for me, what didn't work for me, and she's like us. She grew up when we did. She made a lot of mistakes, and she's good kids. I like to see those laugh signs after Joe. That was basically.
Oh, what? Does he disagree? Like, this is confusing because, like, Joe, where I'm coming from, it's like, yeah, I made mistakes. I don't want my daughter. So go ahead. You're kind of building upon what I said.
Because this is my mother, and I love my mother so much. She was so good to me on my birthday. I was almost like, is this my last birthday? Why is everyone being so nice to me? My mother, God bless her, the only sex advice she ever gave me was, what? No one's going to buy the cow if they get the milk for free. Well, it wasn't. It's just like... But you know, I don't know. I think of it from like my son's perspective. Okay, or no. Okay, forget my son. I don't.
Different. Go ahead. I think it's very different, though.
Okay, forget my son. My son is out of the equation.
Okay.
I'm thinking from a young man's perspective. Okay, why buy the cow if the milk is free? Okay, not all of the milk is the same. People's desires and needs and they're different. What if you're like with this gorgeous girl and you're a young man, and then you get married and it turns out she's like super frigid, doesn't like it, and it's like it doesn't. I can't believe I'm saying it. I can't believe it's coming out of my mouth, but like, don't you kind of have to test drive a car? It's so bad. I'm putting myself.
My daughter is too valuable to go for a test spin. Nobody's test spinning her around the block and being like, nah, it's not.
No, my daughter's.
It's brakes or crap or whatever.
My daughter's gorgeous, and with me as a mother, she's gonna know. My daughter's gonna know how to take care of that man. But that's different. This is the thing,
and I'm not saying. Oh, go ahead.
Put yourself in a young man's position that doesn't have us.
Young men, I understand. Isn't that weird? I feel like I understand the young man's position more than I understand the situation that my poor daughters, the environment they're being raised in. It's like I'm always accused of being a feminist, but guess what? I got 4 sons and 4 daughters. So I'm an equal opportunity person when it comes to the sexes because I got 4 of each. Okay. And I'm with you, Faye, like the whole like corner office, when you said that your son, like he's more into like maybe going off to the country. That's beautiful. That's a beautiful life he wants to build right there. A little self-sufficient, self-sustaining. Yeah. I love that for him. I love that for my sons too, but it's the world that our daughters are navigating is a world where put up or shut up, and it's like put out or shut up. And it's very vulgar. It's a very vulgar. My daughter was literally told to shut up by a male that my son had over as a guest. He told her to shut up in my house, in her house. I was like, and I was mad at my son. I was like, you didn't rip his face off? He was like, well, his sister then said, that was really rude, but it's like, what? I was never told to shut up by anybody besides my mother. Even to this day, my husband doesn't tell me to shut up.
Really? People tell me to shut up all the time.
Shut up, Faye.
I've been told by my brother, my sister, definitely my mother, my father. I think Joe's told me on more than one occasion to shut up.
All right, maybe it's just a different flavor, but for me, that's like scandal. Scandal!
I guess so.
Scandal, people! How dare you?
Yeah. Our kids are
I've been told to go F myself, don't get me wrong, but
right,
shut up for some reason.
My dilemma, though, okay? I guess our daughters have to value it. You know what? I don't think that, like, in history, God even knows, like, how long. Mary, I always go back to what you said. Faye, are we the first generation on Earth and everything fake? But according to history, like, there is something to be said about, like, guarding a virtue. But I think that, like, premarital sex happened all the time.
Of course.
Yeah. And I'm not, I just, okay, so you didn't answer what I said. What if you're a guy and, you have this beautiful girl and you want to marry her, and then you marry her and it turns out that, like,
then you married her for the wrong reasons. I'm sorry. The bloom comes off the rose eventually, Faye.
You know what, though? Go ahead. The bloom comes off the rose eventually. Go ahead.
The bloom comes off the rose eventually. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not going to be young and beautiful forever. I'm not young and beautiful. I'm old and pretty okay cake. I'm doing fine. But it's like, yeah, I'd love to be 20 again and have that body. And, I don't.
I'm not going to lie. This is part of why I was crying on my birthday. And it was just like, it was raining and I was panicking. And, it's hard. It's like, it is hard to get older as a woman. And, like, that, like, you want to be appealing to your husband. And he's so sweet. And basically I opened his card and he's like, you are so beautiful. Your smile. And it's like, I'm a truther, but you can tell me those lies all day when I'm
No, I don't think they're lies, Faye. I think your husband married you for the right reason. And I'm guessing whether he took it for a test drive or not, we're not putting that out there, whether he did or not, but I'm just saying he married you for the right reason, because you know that you married the right person when you don't really notice them aging also.
For this day and age, he did have to wait a little bit longer than the average guy. I'll say that. But we've considered ourselves spiritual. We've been married going on 20 years, but we've been spiritually married
Amen.
for much longer.
I love this. Society pushes lust as love. That's absolutely, I mean, it's true. And it's very, like, I could have been married for lust. Where the hell would I be now? My husband would probably be cheating on me with every Tom, Dick, or what's the Jane, Susie, and whatever out there in the world, because he's an attorney, he's got a great job on paper. He looks phenomenal. If he doesn't, he is a kid.
At our age, he's got a full head of hair, and at our age, that makes him so cute.
I made him grow his winter beard. Yeah. He looks fabulous.
Tall. He's a very handsome man. You know that.
Yes, he could be out there hoeing around behind my back, but because he loves me, he's not going to do that. He's going to do stupid bull crap that pisses me off, but he's not going to completely and totally betray me. And that is the ultimate betrayal, when you've given somebody everything and they turn around and they discard you. And that's what I think our daughters have to really be mindful about, especially in our society. Remember, I'm shooting my mouth off, but remember last week, before we got on the live, I gave you some advice, Faye, about your husband at work. Do you remember?
Well, you told me something I already knew, but what
was it?
Well, it was about, I knew that most affairs start at work. And
Yep.
that's another reason why feminism was to destroy the nuclear family, but it was also to destroy marriage, because they knew like putting men and women in the workplace would break up marriages and stuff. But yeah, you told me that if your husband comes home and he's like, this bitch and she said this, and can you believe this is what she thinks, he's got a thing for her. It's so true. That's when she's in his head.
It's he has a feeling. There's a feeling, and they always say there's a fine line between love and hate. I think that can be very easily reversed. You hate somebody, you already have this strong emotion for this person. All of a sudden, they're so nice. Oh, they're nice to me, and I'm seeking validation because you've been such a bitch to me for so long. And even today, he said to me, he's like, this, oh, she's the biggest bitch. I said, I don't even want to hear it. Don't have any strong opinions of that woman one way or another. Now, keep in mind, my husband just texted me, don't go there about work. What, is your work going to find me, Mike? Anyway, I just think, all right, I've been censored by my husband. I'm not allowed to. What the hell? If anybody at his work is
screams.
Anyways, so I can finish my thought because now my husband is censoring me. And it wasn't all about your work. In fact, I was talking about my daughters and being married to a professional. But okay, Mike, I won't. Now I'm going to turn into a bitch. Anyway, next topic.
Real.
No, what the hell? He's not that important. And guess what? He doesn't look that great with a beard.
Yeah.
It's being so nice. All right.
Yeah, they're okay. Now I'm mad. Now I'm involved.
All right. So, also this week, actually, yeah, we watched The Good Nurse because who was it last week? It was one of the ladies in chat. I can't remember exactly who it was that recommended that we check out The Good Nurse, right?
Yes, because last week we talked about tyranny of the medicine and with my dad and thousands of others, and just the precedent that's ongoing and it's been set. So someone suggested we watch The Good Nurse, and we did. And Mary forwarded me a true crime interview with the alleged woman that was the whistleblower on this. It was interesting, but you know what? Mary and I both. Are you getting the text ready that you sent me? Mary and I both know what this was.
Yep.
It's a big troll. It's a big middle finger to the world saying, yes, we kill people at hospitals and there ain't nothing you can do about it.
So yeah, this is what I said.
Finger, sorry.
Yeah. So I sent her something about on True Crime Daily, I think it was, about The Good Nurse. And she's like, I'm going to listen to that tomorrow morning. And then she's like, I'm going to watch that movie too. And she's like, you watch it. And I was like, fine. So then at 7 p.m., after I had already said I'm not going to text you again this week because I was blowing up your phone all week, I said the fact that they put this movie out, especially post COVID-19, is a huge up yours to families who lost loved ones that hospitals abducted and murdered. It's showcasing how you're up against a money-making machine and you'll get nowhere.
Yeah.
And it absolutely was. It's like, I love true crime.
Finish the text. What did I write back? A second later.
Oh, you said I just said that to Joe.
I said, oh my God, but literally.
Oh my God, we're watching it now and I just said the same thing.
I said the exact same thing to Joe. I go, this is a troll. I said, this is a complete troll. Because it's not even really about like the lunatic that was killing people. And yeah, he's crazy. Yeah. But it's more about that they're telling you that the hospitals didn't stop him. They've never been prosecuted. And that's all there is to it.
I mean, the timing of it is everything. Because when I'm watching it, of course, I'm watching it through the lens of true crime. And he's not the only one. There's others. I have, just real quick, I have Efron Salvar. He was in 1988 through 1998. He was active in the US. He was another nurse that was murdering people out in California. Then I have Vicki Dawn Johnson. She's from 2000, Texas, United States. And two nurses from England. And this was just me hitting, like, scrolling and seeing the other videos. All right. Like, I don't know who to look up. The fact that they focused on this character in this story, I was like, why are they focusing on this one? It's not even that, not to be sick, but that interesting of a true crime story.
I completely agree. And I'm not even into true crime. And I'm not like a sick, I don't like this stuff. I was like, hear me out. This is going to come out wrong, but like, it's like he's putting insulin in bags and it was not fun. I watched it with my daughter. It's not good. It's terrible. But you know, for Hollywood in 2022, there's got to be more like salacious stories. I don't know if salacious is the right word. You know what I mean, Mary? Finish your thought. But
provocative. I would say more thought-provoking, provocative, like mysterious. And I will say, though, he did have other modus operandi than just putting the insulin and that thing that makes you stop breathing. I forget, it began with a D. But in the bags, he did. They just simplified the story in order to make a movie out of it. But yeah, so when I'm watching it and I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry, but this other guy, Ephraim, he was way worse. And they said at the end of that movie that this guy, Collins, whatever, the guy from the Good Nurse, he was convicted, I believe, of 29 counts of murder, but they believe it's up to 400.
Trolling us.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
And they ended, and the hospitals never faced charges.
Exactly. And it's like, we have families right now, like people trying to get together class action lawsuits against hospitals. I have a family friend, and I'm going to tell this. I hope my husband doesn't text me and tell me to shut up. But we have a family friend. I hope this is okay. But his daughter was born with a liver disorder, and she needed a lot of treatment. And when she was 2 years old, she was admitted into Boston Children's Hospital, one of the best in the world. And while she was there for an overnight stay, they forgot to give her a round of antibiotics. The child died. The hospital admitted it was an oversight. This was 5 years ago, 6 years ago. They've yet to see a penny from the hospital when they even admit they had an oversight. And we're talking about killing a child. So
we're living in time where there's no other way to say it. Life is cheap in so many ways, in so many facets, and it's really alarming. It's disheartening to look at. But yeah, I went with what happened with my dad, it wasn't that I wanted to make money, but I thought that there would be lawyers lining up to take it because it was such a clear violation, and he was a veteran, and they wouldn't touch it. And we're living in a time where life is really cheap, and it's creepy. It's weird. It's creepy, and
it shows you're up against this money-making machine, this huge corporation.
Part of the
and I did like that about The Good Nurse, that they did kind of emphasize that fact. Like, no. And then after what we just went through, I was like, wait, why are they emphasizing this point so much? This very controversial point. And it's only because it's a cautionary tale Right?
What is cautionary? I'm starting to get freezy right now as we're talking about it. I'm getting a feeling in my legs and stuff because, you know, talking about Botox, and I just had my birthday. I was never afraid of getting old. You know what I mean? But like, I don't want to be at the mercy of these places. It scares me. And I don't believe in suicide, but I don't want my children to be in debt and paying people that are going to be cruel to me. I don't want to be stuck and separated from my family in a hospital. Like, it's getting to the point. Should I even open my big mouth?
Open your big mouth, girlfriend. I gotcha.
It's like if I am very elderly and maybe getting dementia, and I can no longer go to the bathroom and stuff, and it's between my children putting me in a home or you can take this pill and go to sleep and never wake up. Is that suicide? I mean, it's getting really bad. Like, is it like, I don't want my children and family to have to deal with these psychopaths, so give me the pill and I won't wake up tomorrow? Is that terrible? Like, I can't even believe I just said it. God forgive me for the things that I think and come out of my mouth. I don't know. Sorry. What?
No, that's its own thing. So right now, just so people know, in Canada, they're making it so people that have mental illness can do assisted suicide. All right. Now, if somebody has mental illness, are they in any position to have assisted suicide? I would argue not.
Ooh.
But I would say that refusing treatment would be the fastest. Refusing all treatment would be the fastest way to go. I mean, if you're elderly and you're go ahead.
Yeah, no, get me a bottle of wild turkey and some pills and keep me home, and you know, put on like some rubber sheets. I don't know what to tell you.
Whatever happens, happens. That's my attitude, and it's like I would never look at anything like that as suicide. I look at it as putting my faith in God. But whatever happens, happens.
I know what you're talking about. The it was what's her face did and I really like her. She's the one that just had a baby. She did a short. It was actually like a 15-minute video, which is long for her. She did a video about the Canada assisted suicide and how easy it is there, and how you can just decide like, oh, I just don't want to be alive. And again, we're living in a time where life is so cheap. It's very, very, very alarming. It's very, very, very I'm saying very, 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 very because I can't put words around it. It's my head. It's a lot. It's a lot. We're living in a time that's a lot. And I just feel bad for our children. I'm looking over there at the pictures of my kids, and wow. Ooh.
And that's that. I know. I'm like all washed out. I'm trying to get down in my chair so I'm not. I put on that like daylight bulb again. It's horrific. I hate it. And my camera keeps going out of focus, but
you look great. I just yawned. Please don't like freeze frame our thumbnail of me yawning again.
I don't pick our thumbnails. On all my honesty, I don't.
It's all right. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I don't. There's a couple of them that like I've shared with people, and it's like I'm like, ugh. I'm not vomiting. I'm just sharing a thumbnail that I didn't pick for my live. But yeah.
But
so what's your
the life is cheap? The life is cheap things. Joe just sent me a very Joe. I love him. Joe, don't be a copycat. He's like Joe's like sending me a really nice text now. He knows I'm streaming.
What did he say? Let's compare notes. Faye.
You don't know. I'm not going to get Mike in trouble with Joe.
He's already in trouble. I'm distracted, and I'm just waiting to get off here to go downstairs and rip his head off.
Then I'm not adding to that because I have the best husband, and he's a jerk. Don't listen to him. He's sweet. No, he's so sweet.
I wish I cared that much. You know I don't. I have to go to bed. I got to be up early tomorrow.
I know you have to. I know that's probably like I'm getting your giddiness because usually
I'm so tired.
Right now, but tonight I know exactly how you feel. Like I'm going to be going down to so they wanted me to work one night a week, and then I was having so much anxiety about it. I'm like, at my age, like my nights with my teenagers are precious. The fact that we have dinner together, so I'm like, I'm not doing a night. I'm not working in the evening. So I'm keeping one morning 6 to 9. So every night before that 6 to 9, Mary, I'm going to feel the way you do right now. You know what I mean? It's like in your head. It's like,
oh my gosh. Yeah. So all week I've been trying to wake up early to prepare myself for tomorrow. And it's like now I'm exhausted. I'm like, my eyes twitching. I can feel it twitching.
Okay.
I'm a total night owl.
This is where you just need to go to CVS, my cousin, and throw some money at the problem. I take melatonin, and I'm starting to think that melatonin isn't like the wonderful all-natural supplement they make it out to be. They lied to us about something.
I have a theory they're lying to us about melatonin.
You have a feeling they're lying to us about melatonin. Oh my God, I'm your giddiness. I know how you feel. Why don't you share with the group what time this monstrous?
Oh, you're a jerk.
No, you have to, Mary. Let us all feel so sorry for you. What time do you have to wake up tomorrow? What time is that alarm going off?
8 o'clock.
Mary, I love you so much. I'm going to put on my alarm for 7:50.
You're going to sleep in for 3 hours to wake up at 8 o'clock.
Alarm for 7:50 just to troll you at 8 o'clock. I'm doing it right now because 7:50 for me is like kind of late.
Oh my gosh. Nope. I go to bed anywhere between 2 and 3. Whatever. I'm not represented on Ray's channel all night.
Ray, I can't. It's too long for me.
No, he's great.
Mandela effect.
What?
It's about wine again.
What?
The wine bottles have lost weight.
Yes.
They're thinner.
Okay.
Wheels talked about this. That it's
shrinkflation.
What? It is. But like, this one really bothers me because people would have paid more. You didn't have to shrink the bottle. If you raised it, you could have raised it $5 a bottle. And I'd be like, oh, all right. It is what it is. But like to shrink the bottle is just, they're all like, I know wine. And these bottles are smaller.
They're tiny. They're tiny. Yeah.
It still says, I don't have my glasses. I'm sorry. Faye's always going on about her alcohol being less. But, it's Friday night. They're tiny. That's I think it's the Mandela effect. It's so small.
Hold on. We can't get Mandela effects confused with shrinkflation and other stuff going on.
I know.
And I
thought it was shrinkflation, but I've really been thinking about it. It's so normal. And the thing about wine is that people, they could have there was no need to shrink the bottles. And like all the bottles and all the stocks are smaller now. People would have just paid more. Mm-hmm. They would be like, the price of alcohol went up, but no, like the alcohol, the wine bottles being smaller. Anyway.
But you have to understand, like, I know you're not a prepper and you think all of that is stupid. Guess what? You're going to be spending 3 times as much on alcohol, and you're not going to have the money because you're not going to be able to feed your family because of the price of food going off the rails. I spent $4.50 on a gallon of milk today.
I
$4.50.
never said prepping was stupid. I said I'm a
Oh,
horrible prepper, and and when I decided to prep, all my goods went bad because I didn't know how to store them. I never said prepping
okay.
was stupid.
Well, you have teased me about the beans under my bed, so maybe I misunderstood. Yeah.
Well, you're a psycho, and you've said you're a psycho about it. But you have 8 kids, and you're also the youngest of 5, so you come by it honestly. But I actually think it's stupid not to like have like a month's worth of, at least a month's worth of food ready to
Even
go.
FEMA recommends that we have a month's worth of food. And one more thing before we wrap it up, I did come across another thing today. It was about Medicare. And I don't know if anybody listening is on Medicare, but I heard that Medicare put out a new form, and they want you to fill out this form to see if you have any personal. I wish I wrote it down. I don't think I did.
Want me to Google it?
It's yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh, here it is. I did write it down on my pink sticky note. All right, Medicare health assessment form. And all of a sudden, there's been a lot of reports of people getting this form, and they're filling it out, and it asks you if you have or will have any spiritual objections to certain we'll just say decisions going forward. And first of all, they don't have the right to ask that, but I want people to be on guard when they're filling out these forms to understand the language of what is in the forms, and figuring out what's the implication of answering that question, because it could be a huge implication if it comes to you refuse this service, so therefore we're not going to save your life, or you said no to this, so now we're going to euthanize you. So it's just really bizarre. 2022.
It's really bizarre. It is really bizarre, and these creatures are dangerous. The last 2 years has taught us that, and they're weeding us out. I can't where am I? What is this? And who wrote this science fiction horror movie that we find ourselves in? And I mean, I guess it's the Bible, but it's crazy. They're using the scripture. Yeah, life is cheap, and
yeah,
I'm ready. Because I mean, if they bring this back, I told you, and I love my boss, and I love where I work, but it's going to be a difficult conversation. I'm not doing it. It's against my religion. It's a lie. I'm not bearing false witness. I'm not covering it. I'm not doing it. And we're all going to have to, and that's just the thing for me. No one ever really forced me. I'm not doing any of this. We all know that. That's not happening,
I was thinking also of your nephew when I heard about this, and him trying to decide his, course forward. And it's like, what if they put it in writing, right? And they're like, you have to put down in writing, this is your spiritual, not religious, your spiritual objection. At least that's the language I heard. Hold on. Oh, wait. What the new? Oh,
yeah.
The beans, Auntie Debbie, or Deborah, Auntie Debbie. The beans, I get 16-ounce bags of beans. When you weigh them, you'll see that they're anywhere from 13 to 15 ounces, but the bag looks the same. Yeah. Yes, and all the prices have gone up. $4.50 for a gallon of milk. It was Roach Brothers milk. It's not like I'm going to Whole Foods and all of a sudden I'm getting organic milk. It's still just some crap pasteurized swill they put in a gallon that I'm buying, and I paid $4.50 for it today.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot going on. Oh, wait.
There is.
Yeah. And this is right too. Snowy, people have refused transplants for not taking. Yep. Yep. And now they want you to put it in writing, especially for people on Medicare. And I really think that it's important that people are aware of that because we don't want anything in writing, you know, nothing in writing.
Nothing in writing. I know. What's that? I've always taught my kids, and I guess it's not even writing, but text it, regret it, say it, forget it. And I've got one of my mottos I live by is always say less than necessary, which is funny because I'm here flapping my jaw with you, but that's different. But in life, always say less than necessary. And every single time in business or with anything, I'm just like, I'd like to speak to you about this. I'd like to speak to you about this is how I end. You know what I mean? It's just,
Yeah.
I don't put anything in. I put very little in writing. But then when you're like on your phone, agree.
Oh my gosh. It's not only that, it's even on Discord. Now, if you're on any public servers, you do realize that they're data mining you. I'm sure it's on the private servers too, but we have like kind of that hope that it's not as bad there. But it's like we have to watch our mouths here and we have to watch our mouths on Discord, all over social media. And maybe it's, there's some good that's going to come out of it where we just start watching our mouths and start realizing we're online. Let's rein it in. Not
always raised my kids. I said always act like you're being filmed because you are, because we believe in God. Once I was really, really, really born again, I called myself a Christian for a long time, but I was really more agnostic, and it was thanks to you, Mary, because you pointed those lovely art forms in the sky over my pool, and I was like, holy SHIT, this is all real. And I got down on my knees, and I really, really believed. In private, I've said it before, there's a lot of gross things that I literally stopped doing that day. I know I'm being watched. I know we're always being watched. I know I am. You are too. We're always. I mean, maybe when we go to sleep, they go away, but then we go somewhere. It's all crazy. It's crazy.
We escape.
I was the one thing. Underneath this waterfall, baby, we're still in this hole, right?
Oh, boat. I thought it was.
I looked up the lyrics and it's a baby, we're still in this. But for me, I always heard whole. That was in my head all day. Like while I was vacuuming, I was singing, baby, we're still in this. Cause like waterfalls are so beautiful and it's such duality but we're still in this. Like you could be, like Joe and I are probably going to go down the Caribbean for our 20th anniversary and it's going to be gorgeous, God willing and stuff. But still here. You know what I mean? I'm still here where life is cheap. And I mean, okay. You brought up, what was that form that you were talking about? I wasn't planning to talk about this, but.
Which one?
From Medicare.
Oh, I think I crumpled it up. Darn it. Medicare health assessment form.
Yeah. I mean, you listen to some of the things that these creatures of the WEF say. I don't know if they're CGI
WEF.
Or what. Yeah, like Klaus Schwab and the gang.
WHO, isn't it? Wait, World. I got you. Sorry. Yep.
And I just can't believe the words that are coming out of their mouth. I can't believe are they real? And why is this? Why are we being trolled? It's a lot. What do you think? Do we need
I'm only thinking today when I was changing up the dryer, I was putting more clothes in the washing machine. I was bitching about something and I said, I have nothing and I'm not happy. And my kids were like, what the hell are you talking about? I was like, I think Klaus Schwab said that you will have nothing and you will be happy. I was just bitching. But yet at the same time, it's like, they're saying all these weird things. For some reason, they stick. Why did that pop into my head when I was like pissed off about like the washing machine. I think I was running out of
You're not invited. These creatures, like I know that like the people that say we're manifesting all this, no, this is stuff that there is no way that like this on kids all day or this in the sky. This didn't come from my subconscious. This is stuff that like I could never even imagine. And these people or these creatures that I don't invite close into my life, but I guess I do through the screens. I remember when my dad was in the hospital and I couldn't see him. And then they showed me video of him through one of these smart devices of my dad being tortured, but it's okay. He's in a better place. He sent me an angel named Brenda. But they had the TV on in his room. And I remember calling, and you're like at the mercy of these people because like literally I can't see or touch my father, but these creatures can. And I'm so nice, Mary, because I'm like, hi. I'm like, thank you for the phone call you let me have with my dad. Like, you know me, Mary. This isn't like me, but literally they're with him physically and I'm not. I'm like, you know what? I would really like it if like you guys could make sure the TV wasn't on 24/7. And they were just kind of like, why? What do you mean? Like they were surprised that the thought even occurred to me. I'm like, you know, I just wouldn't really want the TV on all the time. I'm going to start crying about thinking about what he was put through, but like,
yeah,
I didn't want the TV on all the time and they didn't understand what I was trying to say. And they put me in a situation where I have to kiss their ass. It's bad. I'm not the only person.
Yeah.
But yeah. And that's another reason why, like at this point in my life, to take a pill and never wake up again might be easier for my family and everyone else when I'm older. And I'm not saying
I feel like my family owes me something. For one, my family owes me something. All right. I'm not sitting here like a complete loser acting like Cinderella day in and day out, and I'm not going to get anything out of it. That's not happening. But at the same time,
once again, we disagree, Mary.
Oh, because this is the thing. Once you take the beauty of suffering out of the human experience, the beauty of suffering, Christ himself suffered. He suffered for our sins. We can not contribute, but we can understand the beauty in suffering by looking at Christ himself. So once you take the beauty of suffering away, it has no purpose. And that's where we are now. Right.
And you know what? I had this on a very small little molecular level on my birthday because Wednesday it was the most those days, guys, where even the trees are like, this is bull crap. Like it was just ugly. Everyone was miserable. You could feel the cold and the wet inside you. I've always said like, oh yeah, my birthday, as soon as my birthday comes, the weather starts turning, and it was the worst. But then the next day it was still cold, but it was bright and beautiful and everyone was in a good mood. And it's because we could compare it to the crappy day before. I know that suffering has a place, but there's suffering and then there's I don't know. There's suffering and then there's crimes. I don't know.
Oh, yes. No, I'm not saying hold on. I wasn't talking about the situation your dad was in with the TV and all of that. That's not what I was talking about. I was talking about what you said after that about yourself.
Never waking up.
Yeah, that's the only thing I was talking about, that my family does owe me something. And
I'm not saying that I would, and I'm not saying I would. I'm definitely not in a point where I would do it now. But I'm just saying, like, when they're making maybe that's the whole point of making the hospitals unbearable and absolutely satanic and inhuman. And
it's almost like what they're doing to schools. Yeah. They're making schools so bad. It's like, wait, why do they want everybody to homeschool? Wait, why do they want all these home births? You know, all these people that are doing home births now with midwives and stuff like that because they're terrified of going into the hospital. Why do they want this? What's the end game? I don't know, Faye.
I don't either, but you're right. That's a really good point. It's what Matt from Quantum from Conscious, just destroying things on purpose. Destroying everything on purpose. It's a slow burn, but like you said last week, it's not slow. It's a mad dash. It feels slow, but it's also super fast.
It's so fast.
My kids hate school, and it's like, it's so boring. I let them stay home all the time. I do. I don't care. I'm like, as long as you guys can pass. And Dorian told me, and I was so proud. You want to hear the proudest moment of my life this year? So Dorian pulled all A's, and I'm proud of him. Oh. You want to know why you want to hear why? You want to know why? He goes, because why? There's no way those idiots are getting better grades than me. He's so red-pilled. He's like, there is no way anyone blue-pilled.
Or it's just ultra basic, and you would have to be kind of like, I didn't pull good grades, so I'm pretty ultra basic. I freely admit it. But like, yeah, everybody else was pulling great grades. It's like, I was the type of person, I couldn't stand being in a lecture. I couldn't stand not being able to ask 1,000 questions while they were talking. It's like, yeah, but wait, hold on, please. Slow it down. Instead of me just understanding, you just take in the information they're giving you and repeat it back to them.
It's what I said last week. It's good. And my son, it's order following, and it's memorization. And Dorian can be a good order follower. He can as long as you don't ask him to do something too crazy, he can do it. He can do it with a smile on his face. He's very charismatic. I've prayed for him I'm going to tell what I've prayed for my children since the day they were both in my belly. I realized that this world was too much. If I literally sat here right now, and even back then, and thought about what my children are up against, I would start crying, and I would never be able to stand up again. And this was 17 years ago. There's one passage in the Mandela affected King James approved Bible of Jesus, where it talks about Jesus's childhood. And it says that he grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. And that is the prayer that I have said almost every day for my children. And when you think about it, it really covers everything. May they grow in wisdom. That means they're going to be wise. They're going to have discernment. May they grow in stature. That just means health. It's just like stature. It's like, for me, it means health. Like, just they're going to be healthy. They're going to be robust, healthy. But stature, like Dorian's like pushing 6'4", which doesn't hurt. And so and in favor with God and man. If they're in favor with God, then the right man are going to follow. You see what I'm saying, Mary? So
of course.
I can't sit there and be like, I pray for this, I pray for that, I pray for this and my kids and blah, 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 blah. But I've always said those two lines.
I remember, Faye, when even...
I thank God that he's answered that, and I will continue to pray for the rest of their lives. Go ahead.
I will testify right now on your behalf. I remember us talking about that a million years ago, it feels like. But yes, when you had I remember when Dorian was so little, he must have been, oh my gosh, 5 or 6 when you brought that up to me. So yeah, you absolutely have. But I don't know. There's a lot. I mean, we could do a part 2 to all of this, but I have to go to bed.
You have to go to bed. You need to go. You're going to be okay.
What time is it? I have to go to bed so I can get 11 hours of sleep, guys. Come on, leave me alone.
Look at how great you look, though. You think you need your beauty sleep.
Exactly, Faye. All right. Well, good talk. There's a lot to unpack here. I feel like we only grazed the surface.
Totally. And when I re-listen to this, which I will, and we're like, oh yeah. So we can and any jump in. I don't think that we were too controversial tonight. I
feel like it's very controversial because it's almost like I come up against it as a feminist, but I'm also kind of old school sexist with, the conversation of our daughters and us understanding like the simp culture, and it's almost like we were like, yeah, but our sons, that's different. So, and then with the kill psyops and all that crap going on, there is so much here to unpack that I would like to, keep the conversation going. Maybe not every stream will harp on the same thing, but we're going to have to revisit it again because
and we know that the reality in the world we live in will never stop delivering. It's
exactly.
Reality's off the rails. So blessings to you and your family, and don't give Mike too much of a hard time.
I'm not even going to talk to him. I'm going to give him the silent treatment. That will show him.
Joe hates the silent treatment.
Oh, I can't do that.
I don't even like, I think that like I can, like, if I can, I can't even do 1 minute. And he's like,
I can't do that.
I'm not really a game player, but like sometimes I don't have anything to say. And if I ever do this, like
it's on.
In my house, just the finger tap, then Mummy's on the warpath. If my finger
it's on. Yep. Anyway. Yeah. No, I'm not going to fight with Mike. I don't have time. I have to be up early tomorrow. But anyway. All right. Thank you guys for joining us. I am happy we had a lot of women here tonight.
Yay. You're such a feminist. I could give a shit.
I love women. I feel like our experience is way different.
What's between your legs. That was so weird. I don't care what's between your legs. Sorry.
Oh. I didn't even catch it. All right. Good night, Faye. Talk to you later.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.